wake up with a warmness. Something heavy on my mind. It's all on me. Then I think of you all day. Say everything's alright. Oh, say just one thought of you. Oh, baby, yeah. Everything's gonna be. Oh, no, it's gonna be a lovely day. Saying lovely, oh, no, it's gonna be. Oh, yes, I know it's gonna be. Yeah, yeah, oh, a lovely day. Oh, no, no, yeah.
Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. That was the Immaculate John Rooks, who's going to be a guest on this evening's show. Once again, you're turning into www.listenvisionlive.com's Art Spoken, yes. And first of all, I just want to thank everybody who turned in last week. This is the beginning of a journey, and we're glad you're a part of it. And for those who are turning in for the first time tonight, let me introduce myself. My name is Layman McGann, and my co-host is...
better known as Demetrius Jackson. Y'all have to forgive me today. My voice is a little bit down. I'm a little sick today, but we're going to soldier it out today. So go ahead, sir.
Okay. We're still going to make you freestyle later, though. For those who aren't familiar with the format of the show, basically, we decided to get together and provide a forum where we can have artists come on from all trades, walks of life, talents. Just give them an opportunity to discuss their projects and, basically what their life is like in their craft, because, there's a lot of venues and shows out here that will promote artists but don't necessarily give them the opportunity to discuss who they are personally, and give the listener an opportunity to get to know the individual behind the magic. So with that, we have two wonderful magicians, working the same pun, in the house. We just heard, like I said, the musician, the guitarist John Wilk, who obviously is very talented. You have a great voice, by the way. Great voice. And I'm definitely going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself beyond what I can do. But also to my left, we have the visual artist, Aniakant Udofia. And once again, you will get to see and experience some of his talents later on in the show. But going back to the wonderful Mr. Rooks, can you just please give us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm from South Carolina. I started doing music, as soon as I could speak. So this has been a long journey. I started off playing drums, played a little piano. I guess I first got started. My first band was in high school, so I was doing like a rock rap thing. I think Limp Bizkit was out at that time. I was like, how can I play the guitar, the drums, and maybe get a harmonica solo in here? So so that was my mind frame. I started studying jazz in college, and that kind of like brought out a lot of things that I wanted to do. And the people that I was wanting to play with, I never played with white people, to be honest. Like, they were always doing rock and roll stuff, and I just wasn't feeling it. So the groups that I was a part of, like I was part of like a gospel group, like with a choir and everything. And so those are the guys I was playing with a lot. And then I was helping out with a Hispanic congregation. So it was like Latinos, jazz music, and like gospel music. So that's the kind of stuff I was playing, and learned how to play the keys and stuff in college. But honestly, man, gospel musicians, they don't really know the theory a lot of times. Yeah. So I'd be like, Timo, what you playing over there? he'd be like, I got a G, a B, a D, a F sharp. I was like, oh, you playing a G major ninth, He'd be like, yeah. I was like, Timo, how'd you know how to play like that? He must have been the Holy Spirit, man.
That's funny.
That's what he would say. So I ended up learning how to play piano like that. Just kind of sitting behind him, watching him play. Spent a little time traveling. I moved out to Hawaii, and I came back to the mainland probably like 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. And I was living in Columbia, South Carolina. I really didn't know what else to do. I started playing music, just kind of like to pass the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't get hired for a job. The economy was bad, so I was like, well, I'll just work for myself. And a year later, I was voted the best solo artist in Columbia, South Carolina.
That's pretty amazing considering you're just doing it to pass the time, so to speak.
Well, I mean, I was kind of going through some stuff, and I was like, I always wanted to play music. I guess I'll do that. So,
but sincerely, like a lot of artists you talk to, it's like this was my soul destiny.
You know what?
You just speak of it casually, like this was an accident.
My thing was like I don't want to be a rock star. Like I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good dad.
Okay.
So like I think that's the other part of it is like you can be delusional. So I think the big part about playing music, this is a job.
Yeah.
I go to work just like everybody else. Like I go to work every day. Like I'm playing as much as I can. So I think that's a difference between, I think, the way that I work at music, the way like a lot of people like think that they're a rock star because they play 3 shows. Like I play like 7 a week sometimes, and if I don't make enough, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna play on the street, So that's. There we go.
This is definitely a learning process. This is our second show,
live radio.
And with that, we should just speak on that. It being a live show, I just want to remind the audience that we are definitely here for you. And if you have any feedback to give us and how we can make it a better experience, please just let us know. Hit our Facebook.
We got to get the sound guy on point, y'all.
Exactly. Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry about the interruption, but please, like you said, it's a job, and there's so much more to life than being that rock star, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay my rent, man. If I sell 1 million records, that'll be a bonus. I think a lot of times success is the most part a blessing. There's 1 million people in the world working harder than me that aren't as successful as I am. So we just everybody goes to work every day. You hustle, you do your part, you provide for your family. That's what you do. So that's what I'm trying to do, But I did get signed to a record label since I've been to DC. Yeah. It's been good. We're gonna see how it comes out. We got a record scheduled to come out this summer.
Okay.
So Forever Young music group. We got a couple people on the roster that are just super, super talented. Nelson Frank, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a solid R&B singer. He just got picked up by BET's Wrap It Up tour. Ashley Brown, she's just a monster singer. She's got this record right now that's called My Diary.
Okay.
It's super, super sick. I think got a girl named River Dakota coming out. Another group called A 4EY. It's a boy group. So.
Yes. And this is all spawned from DC.
Spawned from DC, yeah. I mean, I'm not like DC, I'm the only white guy I think on there too. So, but I'm just glad to have people that believe in me, and I think that's what I've experienced most since I've been in DC. So I'm really thankful for the people here. Honestly, I've had mixed reviews being a white guy doing R&B sometimes. It's just like I wasn't allowed to sometimes, or like they look at me and they see me with a acoustic guitar and they're asking for Hank Williams every day.
That's so funny.
And I'm just like, I don't really like Hank Williams that much. So I don't really, I can sing country music, but I don't really want to.
Yes.
So it was kind of cool. I felt like I could kind of be myself in DC. People really got behind me what I was doing. So it's been a good journey to be here. So. And
you were saying you do about 7 shows a week.
Yeah,
Where
I play.
Could we find you?
So I'm playing. So this week I do Potbelly 5 days a week. So that's like
any particular location.
That'll give me numbers real quick. And then I've been doing. There's a place called the Black Fox Lounge that I played at. Like a couple weeks ago, I was at the Howard Theater with Sweet Life Radio's Shindig.
Yeah, they're a good group to work with.
Yeah, super cool, man. But Dez is so amped. Like being on the radio with him, like he's just like he's turned up to like 11. Like the knob goes to 10, but Dez is on 11. Like they're passing the bottle in the radio show. I mean, like y'all need to calm down. I'm over there. Like I was like, man, I didn't take my shot of Red Bull before I got on.
So funny.
So yeah, they're real amped up people. But so yeah, I can just say I'm blessed. Oh, other places that I'm, you can find me on the street shows. I love playing down in Chinatown. Don't let everybody know, but that's probably my most lucrative spot. And I get to interact with people, If I'm playing in a bar or in a club or something like that, people might be listening to me. Yeah. They'll be, like, bobbing their head and be like, oh, that guy can sing, whatever. But, like, if I interact with people, on the street, a lot of times, like, if I sell them a CD, like, they want to get behind me, So they're hardcore fans, so I really, really appreciate that.
That's what's up. We're going to take a quick 30-second break, and then
right, yeah.
When we come back, would you bless us with another song, perhaps?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll do some original for you.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you.
The head of me.
And once again, we are back in the lounge with Art Spoken. We were talking to the musician, the talent John Brooks, and he's going to perform another song for us. Wow, what are you going to do?
Yeah, this song's called Complicated. So it's a new track that's got, I'm trying to put on the next record. Just kind of talking about, like, there's not a lot of people really, we were talking before, I wanted to talk about, everybody enters into a dialogue and a conversation in the art world, and they're saying what's beautiful. And so a lot of times people like over glamorize what their life is really like. And so this song is called Complicated, and just talking about, what, I'm good just chilling. Like, I ain't got to make $1 million. Like, life is still beautiful. So that's what the song's about. So. Ain't gotta be so complicated, 'cause I just wanna chill with my beautiful lady. No. I don't need no Benz or Mercedes, yeah. All these kind of things get me frustrated, because I say the tip of the top down, but to the bottom row. We all were just wondering which way to go. Oh, baby, from this time clock to the soft pillow, we all were just wanting just a little more. Sometimes I see a man sell his soul, no, but trying to get a little dough. Baby, please tell me, is it worth it? Do you know? Or were you richer back when you were poor? Oh, yeah, ooh, say, and trying to be so complicated. 'Cause I just wanna chill with my beautiful lady. 'Cause I don't need no Benz or Mercedes. All these kind of things get me frustrated. Because I say, greedy with the dollar sign. You might be pretty, but the money's always on the mind. So fine, you got a beautiful soul, so rich, but you don't even know. No, I wish your eyes wide open, but wouldn't that be something? Oh, so blind that you don't even see me, girl. All of the riches in humanity, but don't be so complicated. No, I wanna chill with my beautiful lady, so no. 'Cause I don't need no Benz or Mercedes. All these kind of things get me frustrated. Because we all just want a little more.
Okay.
Yeah, a little song called Complicated.
You know, we need 2 hours because I can listen to an hour of that easily.
Yeah, I can hear it.
But I mean, you can at least 7 times a week lately. So your wish is granted.
That is awesome. I'm so happy you're here today, and I presume that the people that are listening are just as excited to hear you as well. So can you tell us a bit more about what you're doing in regards to the community besides just playing?
I just had my son was born 2 months ago. So
congratulations.
I would show it to the camera. I don't know how that works, but he's about that big,
Looks like you.
He looks a lot like me. He's 23 and a half inches right now. We found out today. Took him to the pediatrician. So I'm trying to be a dad. So that's my part of community service right now.
Okay.
I've been grocery shopping, that kind of stuff, and.
But you've been giving lessons as well.
Yeah. I give lessons. So I'm teaching at this place called the Guitar Gallery. It's in Cleveland Park. So I've got around 15 students right now. The teachers there are just monsters. I feel really blessed to be on staff there. A lot of flamenco guitar players, jazz guys. So I do a little bit of jazz and stuff like that myself. But these guys are just miles ahead of me. So I'm glad to be a part of what they got going on over there.
Okay, excellent. Mitch.
What, man? I'm trying to talk.
I know.
There's not much left here.
Spoken word, man, indeed. I guess at this point we can just open up the table and just have a round discussion about what our impressions are of the arts, and how people are accepting of us, and what our difficulties are as far as whether it's promotions or you're on your way up, so things seem to be going really well for you in that regard. But just to the listener who is out there who is contemplating playing the guitar for a job, or in the case of Neocon, who we'll definitely explore a bit later, who's a visual artist, some of the things they need to do to just stay confident and persevere.
You go ahead. Okay. Well, I honestly tell people that a lot of people don't realize it's a job. Man, treat it like a job. Go to work every day. Nobody's gonna. I mean, sometimes they do give you stuff, but that's very rarely does that happen. If you were to put in 40 hours a week practicing your guitar, you can be pretty good. I don't care how terrible you are right now.
Mm-hmm. I
think a lot of times, a lot of artists don't realize too, because they do have that work ethic, playing their instrument and working at their craft. But the other side of the industry is learning how to be a businessman. There's ton of people that are better businessmen and worse artists than me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other end of it, So when I first started doing this, it's a grind. It's hustling. You might have to start off playing for $20, you know, but then you put in your work and you do it. So that does frustrate me with some people that are artists out there, and they think they don't realize where they are, And I used to be that guy too. So I think a lot of people didn't like me, but so having put in my time at this point, I realize it's a job,
Yes.
You go in, you put in your time, you go do your thing, There's a lot of steps to it, but it's also an industry too that there's a machine at work that there's a lot of money they put behind certain people, and so it almost doesn't matter how hard you work if you don't have a certain amount of people behind you. But with the internet and things like that, there's opportunity out there to be had, and so.
And I was going to say, with your new signing, are you going to be able to control your identity, or? You know
what? I'm in the works of that. They're really working on how best to pitch my image.
Or package you.
Yeah, they say that I get to be too heady sometimes, but honestly they don't know I'm here right now. But I'm repping them. I'm just being me.
No, and that's
and
real.
so
that's real.
if I keep working hard and doing my thing, the main thing, the main reason why I signed, to be honest, is they're gonna give me free recording time at the studio,
yes.
and producers to work with, and and that was invaluable to me. And they gave me like, I mean, a few years ago I was talking to Warner Brothers, and everything that they were going to give me up front I was going to have to pay back. And so when when a label approached me and they said everything up front is free and we're only going to take a percentage on the back end, I said that's a deal I can work with. So that's the reason why I'm with them, you know. And honestly, they can only help me, you know. We can have some conversations later, you know.
But the mics are off, right?
I mean, but that's a part of the game, you know. So
up until this point, how many albums have you?
Oh gosh, you know, my first record was in high school. It was like I said, it was like a rock rap record. And then I did. So this is kind of funny. I did like a half. It was like half beats driven, half like just goofy songs. Like it was called. I figured like Lucille was B.B. King's guitar, and I had I don't mean me being insensitive or racist, but it might sound this way, but I was like, I had a black guitar and I called her Shanika, so it was like, you know, I named the record "Good Times with God and Shanika," and I had dreadlocks and a beard back in the day, and so like me on the front of the record was like, you know, me with like a chin strap, beard, and dreadlocks, saying "Good Times with God and Shanika," looking up at the sky. It was fun, man. People still they knew me in college, knew that record.
Okay. I'm sure the songs from that album were fun.
Yeah, it was like Jesus Loves Ugly People, you know, just silly stuff, man. Let's see. I had another record that I did after that. So I was with a gospel group called Grace, and we never did get in the studio, but we had probably like 7 or 8 songs, and we were traveling a good bit because we were doing stuff with a choir that traveled around, and but then we were writing our own songs and then performing them different places. But then after I finished that project, you know, I did my own. That was a second record. I did a third record when I first moved back to South Carolina, and then I put out another record. Oh no, okay, gosh, so I'm at 4 now. So the fourth record was called "Growing in Love." Okay. So I wanted to talk about the idea that, you know, people don't fall in love, they grow in love. So it's like, you know, when you fall down, you made a mistake, you know, but when you grow, you don't know lie at the beginning. So that's kind of what the concept for that record was. It was like an EP that I did in Columbia. I had T-shirts and everything. I was throwing T-shirts to people at shows and stuff. But the record that I just did was a self-produced a record called Alive in the Living Room, and it was kind of a mix between R&B and Latin influences, and a lot of it was talking about like different decisions that happens in love, that the way that it affects you. One of the songs that I really liked on the record was it was called man, I don't even know what the name. Let me just tell you what the song's about. I forgot what the name of the song is now. But this is it's off the record that I'm still kind of promoting right now. I've been selling. But it's called Baby Jesus. But okay. It's not really about like a super Christian song at all. But it's basically talking about the story of a girl that found her identity in being like super, super good, and then like she goes off and like she just then lives her life the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. And then she just finds out she's completely broken, and then in the midst of it, it's just saying you're just loved, no matter how hard you try or how much you don't try. Like you're just loved the whole way through. So that was a cool you know, song on that record. But this next one, you know, I really want to concentrate on like just teaching young men what it means to love. So we were talking about that.
Yes.
You know, I said this on you know, The Sweet Life as well, because they was like, man, John, you the type of dude that all the ladies love and all the fellas hate. They said, I was like, what do you mean, man? They said, he's like, man, every time you come in the room, he's like, why can't you be like John, man? Why can't you be like John?
Crazy.
He said, why don't you try to marry me or whatever? So, you know, they always like nudging him with the elbow or whatever. But I was like, for real though, like if I could, that would be the highest compliment you could tell me. Because if young men would marry the women they love and like raise their kids and stick around and stay and work hard and all that kind of stuff, like, you know, Al Green used to write stuff like "Let's Stay Together," man.
Yeah.
We're the guys writing those records today, you know. So like stuff like that is a conversation in the culture that we need to have, you know. So everybody's standing up and saying this is beautiful, and I'm just like, man, this is beautiful, but let's stay together, you know. Like, and I love singing Al Green stuff like that, you know. Like Marvin Gaye, that kind of stuff. So I think there's room in our culture, and there is a hunger for it too.
There definitely is.
So, you know, there's you know, people need to have that conversation. So and I'm never mad at people. Everybody stands up and they're honestly saying this is what I believe is beautiful. So I'm taking my space too, and I'm just like, yeah, man, I see what you're saying, but listen to this. This is really beautiful. So,
are you ever afraid of being, say, like ostracized or marginalized? Because there seems to be a large spiritual undertone to your music. Not particularly saying it's faith-based or religious-based, but you know, like you said, we live in a day and age of such secular.
Man, everybody's saying what they believe in. You know,
bottles and.
Yeah, they just telling you what they believe in, man. This is a conversation. This is a conversation, you know.
It really is. It really is.
It's a conversation. So it's just like, man, if I'm a man, I'm standing with you. I'm gonna be in your spot, man. You like what I'm doing. I like what you're doing. There's respect. We can have a conversation.
I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of proposals on our Facebook page.
Oh man, I'm already married. So.
I'll take them for you.
Hey man, you know what? If I can help you out, man, I need an entourage, and you know, I can hook you up.
You're one of the most pleasant persons I've met in a really long time.
I appreciate it.
Definitely an honor just to have the opportunity to speak to you and hear your music. Where can one find your albums?
All right, so well, there's so I'm not on iTunes right now. Just part of that is because the label wanted to kind of, you know, present like a fresh start as far as like my presence, as far as like digitally. But you can go to johnrooksmusic.com, so JONROOKS music.com, and you can send $10 to PayPal, and I will mail you a copy of my old record and any other one that you want if I can find them. So you know, if you really want some good times with God and Shanika, we can go dig it up, and you can hear my pitchy little voice get down on it.
Do you still own Shanika?
Man, yeah, you know, actually, so it was my dad's guitar. This is actually a special guitar. You know, just dry your eyes after this story. My dad, my whole time, you know, I knew him, never told me I was any good at guitar.
Wow.
And like the last time I saw him before he died, my freshman year of college, he told me that I was better than him. Like he went from like never saying that I was any good at all to be like, take my guitar, you're better than me. And I'm just like, so that I can't get rid of it, you know. So it's not like the best guitar in the world, but it's like this Black Ovation. It's a beautiful guitar, but so I still got it. So that's Shanika.
That's
special
awesome.
place in my heart. So
that is a tear-jerking story.
Man, you know, I mean, you can dry your eyes, man. It's not that bad.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take another quick break, and then when we come back, we will be talking to our next guest, the artist in the house, Mr. Udofia. Thank you.
happened? What
Thank you. Welcome back to Art Spoken here on a Thursday night in the district, Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, the United States, that is. And with that being said, I just want to send a big shout-out to all our international listeners. I understand that last week we had people...
my second home, Dominican Republic. I love y'all.
Indeed. DR, we will be coming to you and broadcasting from you shortly. But I also understand we did have listeners from Brazil, the continent of Africa, Europe. And, you know, I know personally I got some messages that this week I would have some listeners in Fiji, Australia, you know. So we're doing things big worldwide here, and we definitely appreciate your support. Everyone go out there and tell a friend, you know, get on. This is the realness. We're not corporate sponsored. You know, this is a crowdsourced grass movements kind of thing we have going here. And, you know, if you want the reality of what arts is, then, you know, support us. And we're not going to give it to you unfiltered. You're hearing it straight from the artist's mouth, with how they're living, what they're going through. And I think it gives everyone a true appreciation of the arts in general. With that being said, we're going to continue with the show. We have into the studio tonight our guests, Ania Khan Udofia and Mr. John Brooks. If you're just tuning in, you missed a spectacular first half hour, and we will have the show up shortly on our website, and you'll be able to go back and be able to review it. But John Brooks is definitely an outstanding gentleman and a fascinating artist. So with that, we're just moving on to our second guest, Mr. Ania Khan.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me tonight. You know, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about yourself, sir.
Well, I was originally born here in Washington, D.C., to parents from Nigeria, which is where I'm originally from. I guess I can claim both at the same time. So, growing up here in D.C., during that time, my parents were going to school and also working. So what they would do, it was me and two other siblings. So what my mom started doing, she got us interested in doing a lot of coloring book stuff. So
Okay.
I started taking an interest in it more, and so my subject matter even then started changing to more of the comic book characters. So in '82 we moved back after my parents finished their education here. They moved back to Nigeria, so I lived there for about 16 years.
Okay.
And then I came back to DC. But in the in-between time when I was back home, I kept drawing, and eventually during the 90s, the explosion of hip-hop, it was really big over there because like all those hip-hop artists, like even people started, we started doing our own versions, which is, I'll talk about it later, which is one of my series, which is called The Village B-Boy. So,
okay, yes,
yeah,
I'm
so
familiar with that.
Yeah, because
so,
looking at a lot of yard, I saw a lot.
Oh yeah,
of
thank
hip-hop
you.
there. That's why.
Yeah, it was really crazy. Like, and the Village B-Boy was really, like that concept was subtle, because you can see someone in a native attire, but then they have like a New York Yankees hat backwards. You know what I'm saying? So you knew, like we knew that was the B-Boy.
Yes, yes.
So, but yeah, with hip hop came another. Now I'm moving on from comic books and action figures to now I'm seeing in a lot of hip hop. There's a lot of hand-drawn or illustrated album covers.
Mm-hmm.
Example is the Organized Confusion album cover, Tribe Called Quest album cover, and there was an artist named Matt Dew. He used to do a lot of that illustrations. And another guy that was caught my attention was the guy that did The Last Word in the Source magazine, Andre Leroy Davis. So I decided then, like, okay, I think this is what I want to get into. But there was a disconnect there because my parents were like, no, this is some childhood game, thing that, I don't, most, and it's not like, I'm not blaming them, they grew up from a different era from us. Like, first of all, even musically, hip hop still to a lot of old heads is not considered music, even though, because to them it's like a bunch of guys screaming, and to us we're listening to the lyrics, the beats, and there's so much to go with it. So that was the same thing. So they kind of looked at it like, how are you going to make a living drawing, So.
Oh, there we are. There we are. We have some of your art displayed. Just the Village B-Boy. I was going to ask you quickly. So were you? Did you teach yourself this craft, or is it something you went to school for? Or?
And you can teach anybody to draw, but it's like the passion that is driven behind it.
That's true.
Like
That's very true.
So I always drew, and even till date, like I still draw all the time.
Yeah.
So the more, just like John was saying earlier, like he plays the guitar, and the more you're dedicated to it, the better you get. So it was the same thing with me. Like I always keep my eyes open for things that attract me, like other artists and what they're doing, the styles they're using, and so I keep drawing. So eventually I came here to DC in '99 and to pursue a career in illustration. So from there it moved on up to I did a few local album covers. Like there was a group called The Package. I did there was Elike, and
but you're kind of jumping. How did you promote yourself, or how did you get discovered to become the prolific artist you are?
So the story goes like this. So when I came here, I didn't know where to start, and mind you, like all I know is, and this is why, and this is a very strong advice, like never ever show your friends and family your work. Ever.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing prior to coming here.
Yes.
So I came here, and it's like you trained to swim in a little puddle, like a swimming pool, and then someone threw you in the ocean. Like, so you're like, okay, this is like 50 feet deep, and like the waves are, and you're like, there were no waves in the swimming pool, so now you have to work your way. So that's exactly what happened. When I got here, reality hit. I started going up to New York a lot. I was working, I started, first of all, I worked at Burger King, and so after that, between Burger King and working security, I was going up to New York. because I had gone to New York with this guy who had a college magazine, and he just, he was like, yeah, I'll bring you up there as my illustrator. So I saw how he was moving, and so what he had was his press pass. This is not, by the way, this is not something I would advise anybody to do now, because we got the internet and, but back then it was like, you can do like a face-to-face. So all he had was that pass, and he would go into the offices, and I saw like how easy it was. Like the next thing you know, we're sitting there with Nas, we're sitting there with Wu-Tang and all these people, and that's how he got his interviews. So I came back here, and I went back up there with the same idea. So what I would do is, I had a portfolio. It was garbage. It was really bad. Like the work then, it really sucked. So I kept going up. I was persistent. So eventually, I think one of those magazines I went to, the art director, because I would just go there and they were like, oh, you have to set up an appointment. So I would go outside to the payphone and set up the appointment from the payphone, and then go back up. Like, so, yeah, so I'll call them and they'll be like, yeah, so, are you available at 2? It's 10 o'clock. So I'm like, yeah. So I just wander around Broadway until it's 2, and then I'll go up there. And so they'll be like, oh, so you live in New York? I'm like, no, I live in D.C. I'm actually going back tonight. Yes. So I just came up here for this. So some of the art directors were nice. They appreciated the hustle, so to speak. Yes. So I kept doing that, and this it was really bad, because like with these, I had like, by this time I'm up to like 4 jobs. So I was working 3 jobs. I was working as security, and then I was working at CVS, and then for a moving company. And on the one day off, I'm going to New York to shop my portfolio. So, but I started creating like a body of work. Again, it was really bad body of work, because I was just drawing. Now, at one point, I think it was Vibe magazine. So I went to Vibe magazine, and the art director was kind enough to tell me, like, listen, the reason why you're not getting calls back is because you suck. Yeah. And I'm gonna
Someone just literally said this to you.
Yeah, and it was cold, like you're walking around feeling. So he was like, no, but I'm gonna tell you why. You don't have a style. So that was the first time I took something from New York back to DC. Like, what is style? So at my security job, I was working nights, so I would sit there and try to figure out style. So I met this other artist there in New York, because he was there. Like, I'm talking about, like, and what I'm talking about is a room full of people. So it was like, whoa, the embarrassment. So one of the guys there, pulled me to the side and showed me like some samples of what the art director meant by style. And when I saw that, I started looking in, because the thing was, back then my work, I was drawing just a lot of rappers, because that was the industry I was going into. So, but the problem was, I would take the background and try to disguise the fact that this rapper doesn't look exactly like the rapper, and I would put a lot of other things in the background to make it interesting. So that's what they called me out on. So when I came back to the security job, I sat there and worked on style. So by this time, I got my first illustration gig, which was XXL magazine. Okay. So I started working with them, and I was so excited. Like, I turned in the work, and I think it was like 3 days, and usually it's like a 3-week thing. So I was that excited, and I actually went the whole time I worked with XXL. I think I mailed them the work once. The other times I would take it up there and deliver it by hand. So by this time, I'm also working with, there was a magazine here, a few underground magazines here in D.C., like While You Were Sleeping. There was another one called D.C. Pulse, and there was Streets magazine. And so it continued then on. So I started developing a style. And with the style, this time, I'm more like, when I draw the characters, I leave the background plain. Like, the background is white, so my focus was more on the detail of the people. So from there, I got more and more work coming in. So later on, I started getting into doing murals. And again, the mural, as my first mural was I think 2000, around 2000. And the next one was 2001, but these were really bad murals. I didn't have the skill set because I never done that. There's a difference between painting on a canvas and then you have like a 20-foot or a 60-foot wall, and it's like, okay, so now this little thing here has to become 20 times bigger. So I started off doing a lot of bad work, and so I went back and did what I always do, which is research. So I looked at what other artists are doing. I talked to a few artists, and I started working with aerosol. Mm-hmm. So with aerosol now, the work is getting better.
Okay.
And
you work digitally at all?
No, I work by hand. I'm really not into the digital, phrase of things, because it's just two reasons. One, it's a lot of time. It takes up a lot of time, and second, it's because of how easy it is. Because it's a program, so you can easily erase stuff and click and remove. So because of that, I think it kind of makes people lazy. So you kind of lay back and work on, feel like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna. But when you're doing it freehand, when you're doing it by hand, you have to be extra careful. You know what I mean? So the mistakes can't be made, and so that makes you focus more and pay attention. So yeah.
So I have had the opportunity to actually see many of your art on walls in the district, and sincerely, I didn't know until researching for this show that a lot of what I had seen is, through you. Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about the projects? I mean, like what's it like working with Albus and the DC what's the Arts Commission?
Yeah, I mean it's so with once I build up my skill set on aerosol, I was able to work faster with a lot of large space. So there's a lot of entities that I've worked with, like DC Commission on the Arts, a few others. But yeah, the process, which is where I am now, is what I focus on more, because there's a disconnect between the artist, the process, and the client.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people see it like, oh, it's this fun thing, and they use that word, just, which destroys everything. So they'll say something like, just do a sketch, or just something quick,
Yeah, yeah. So without really appreciating
right,
you.
So like with my experience with working with a lot of people or different, there's some people who get it, there's some people who understand, and then I noticed like there's also a lot of people who don't. So that's what the challenge is now, is to putting the value into it. Who is an artist to you, and that's to the client, and then to the artist, who are you? Like, what are you doing this for? Yes. You know what I mean? Because like John said earlier, it's a job at the end of the day. It's not, there was a time when art was this fun thing. That's when they had abandoned buildings and the artist can go live in like 8,000 square foot space and just work, and produce amazing work. Now, we don't have that anymore. So what you put down, what you present out there, how, what is the effect of it? How are you reaching out to people? What is it? What are you trying to do? Fame, so a lot of the terms, a lot of these terms, the value, the process had to be addressed. So, for instance, like there is a difference between street art, graffiti, and a mural.
And I wanted to touch on that as well.
Yeah, so people always weave those three in together. And a lot of these people like the graffiti it's because it came from a youth standpoint. It's one of those things that the youth had, like just like hip hop. Like the youth are always creative, so they felt like we're not gonna commit a crime or do anything like that, so we're gonna go out there and create a fun thing for ourselves. So what people always forget is that graffiti is the art of the letters. It's street typography, and that the whole aim of graffiti is to get your name up. It's fame. It's like street fame. So that's why I started on the trains.
Real quick, because we're about to run out of time, unfortunately. Do you have any exhibits coming up, or what's some of the works you're working on? Any other murals? I understand that a lot of people may not know this, but one of your most publicized murals is on the side of Ben's Chili Bowl.
Ben's Chili Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, right. Which is also a district landmark.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yes. I mean, you're all over the city if people really think about it. You're on Rhode Island Avenue, Northeast.
Bill Cosby and Barack
Obama. And you have a couple of Chuck Browns.
Yeah, Chuck Brown, Donnie Simpson.
It's remarkable how, like, you know, you've come from these not to sound disrespectful, but this meager background to basically putting your mark on the nation's capital. Like,
can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
What is B-boy looking like? You know, like people really breakdancing with like the big long, you know. Because I'm just like this is the picture. I was like imagining somebody doing like a 6-step. You know, they got the thing on. You know, I'm just like, man, you're gonna rip your dress.
That is hilarious.
You know, West Africa, man. You know.
No, indeed. But please, yeah. So, any galleries or?
There, right now, I'm working on a body of work. I have 3 series, and one is The Village B-Boy.
Okay.
The other one is called Reloaded, and the third one is called Return of the Shaolin Pencil.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be working within those 3 themes, but also this summer I'm gonna be setting up the proposal for more murals, because my thing is like DC. I think DC deserves a lot of dope imagery on walls. Yeah, no, I mean Philly has it already, but I want to give DC a Philly flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Precisely, because I'm saying you are Philly worthy. Tell our audience real quick where they can find you.
I'm on Instagram as Aniakan Reloaded, one word. And on Facebook, okay, ANIEKAN Reloaded, RELOADED.
That's what's up.
And also on Facebook as well as Aniakan Udofia.
Okay,
yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're definitely going to have both of you back on. This night show has just been overwhelmed with talent. And
maybe next time I won't be sick and I actually
Well, get well soon, man.
I mean, but like I said, we're going to have to find a way to expand these shows, because there's not enough time to address all the full capacity of our geniuses. But with that said, I'd just like to thank everyone who tuned in tonight.
Hell yeah. And I want to give a special thank to Madison Davenport, most definitely, for working with us very much so to get a lot of these artists in here.
I second that. And if you like what you heard, please do us a favor and go out and tell all your friends. Share the love, because, like I said, this show is about you and your appreciation of the arts. And with that, this is Art Spoken at www.listenvisionlive.com. My name is Leyland.
My name is Demetrius. Detroit. I had to get out to my Detroit people.
We'll see you next week, same time. Thank you.
You know what time it is. Word up. KRS-One coming through. All you MCs out there, switch your position and come to Listen Vision, DC's #1 record.